Okay, hello and welcome to another tutorial from me. Here I'm Jay, I'm your coding tutor, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use CodeSandbox. Now previously I did speak about CodePens, right? So I did already make a video about CodePen a few days ago, which is very useful. CodePen is really very useful if you're practicing JavaScript. If you're practicing JavaScript, if you're practicing Bootstrap, then definitely CodePen is very useful, right? I'm sure you can do React in CodePen as well. However, if you're going to do React.js, then CodePen is definitely a better option. As usual, please make sure that you use your GitHub account. This is how it looks when you visit CodeSandbox. When you click on sign in, you obviously have an option to sign in with GitHub, or of course you can use Google and Apple, but I would strongly recommend you please use GitHub. You have GitHub, remember, is your passport to all developer services. So use GitHub to log in, and once you log in, you'll get something like this. Okay, so here you already have an option to first step. You can use a template, so that's what I'm going to do right now. So you can use a template, and obviously all the major frameworks are available for you right out of the box. Like you have the Vanilla.js, which I would still recommend you use CodePen for that. I still like CodePen for Vanilla.js, which is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But CodeSandbox also offers a template for vanilla JavaScript. You can see it right here on the screen. And you also have Vue.js, of course. You also have Angular.js as well. And I can see that they have beta access for Next.js, which is a backend thing. I wouldn't recommend doing backend on CodeSandbox or any online web editors. I would request you, if you're doing backend stuff, then please use Visual Studio Code on your computer. But again, the world is changing. You should use what suits your lifestyle and learning preferences. But we are talking about front end, so CodeSandbox is a good option. As always, the real reason to use a online editor such as CodeSandbox and CodePen is the ease with which you can share it with your classmates, with your coding tutor. Now I work as a coding tutor. For instance, if you go to my profile, I have a a free online class. This tutorial is part of that. So we go here, and whenever I ask someone to ask me a question, actually I have two. One is my standard one where I have the discussions and issues and things like that. I have another one for my paid classes where also I have a discussion for them. So usually what I tell them is, whenever they have a question or something, I ask them to post the code project they're working on like this. So when you ask a question, make sure you put a link to the project. So this is perhaps the biggest reason why you would use an online editor. Okay, but you can also, the other reason would be maybe you're just starting out and you haven't got around to setting up all the developer tools on your computer, and you want something to start right away, without having to set up all the tools. That's another reason why you may want to use the online editor. But seriously, if you're going to be a developer, you have to use VS Code, which I'm going to do today as well. But yes, CodeSandbox will make it easy for you to ask questions, which is a very important part of learning. So there you go. Irrespective of the reasons why you want to code directly on a web editor, here we go. So CodeSandbox is a good option to use React.js, and you can see here that I was able to use the template, and right off the bat I have a simple React.js thing going on here. So there you go, right? It's working already. Now I can go here, I can put and say making this video tutorial to show how to use CodeSandbox. You can type, and then once you finish typing, and there it is, you can see here, making this video tutorial to show how to use CodeSandbox. So that is a very simple way you can start off by using a template, and then you can start editing, and you can immediately see the output. Now, as I have mentioned many times, please remember that let me get the paint software here. So let me get the paint software here. So please remember that when you are coding, whenever you are coding, always remember to, is there any way I can make this bigger? Hold on. Image properties, there you go. So let me make this 1920 by 1080. Yeah, a bigger canvas for me. So now remember, whenever I do any kind of coding, I always prefer that you have two monitors. Okay, so you have your main, perhaps your laptop. Okay, you have your laptop on which you are typing, and I would prefer that you have a monitor, even a used monitor or an old TV will do. It doesn't have to be an expensive monitor or anything like that. So I always recommend that you use a setup something like this. So you do your code on your main screen, the one which is in front of you, and you look at your output on your second monitor. Now this is the ideal setup I recommend for all web developers. Seriously, this is a very bare minimum. The reason is very simple, and I'll show you right now, because I can only record a single screen at any given point of time. Now when I'm looking at this right now, so you see I have to code here, and at the same time half the screen is taken up to look at the output. Now this is okay when I'm recording a tutorial, but when I'm working on a project, see the lack of space. I know what I would like to do is I would like to use the split window, so I have two files open side by side or top to bottom. Usually I prefer side by side, which is what I'm going to do. It keeps going to the bottom. I think it's because of the lack of space. See, normally what happens is you go ahead and open files to the right side. Right now it's opening to the left side because of the lack of space, I guess, and I'll show in VS Code in a minute. So it's always a good idea when you have more space when you're coding your project. So for instance, I would prefer to open this in a new window. Okay, and then what I would like to do is, now you can't see it because I'm dragging it away to my second monitor. So there you go. Now I have the output and I want to close this, I want to make this small or go away. And then what I like to do is I want to use the entire first screen to look at the code in split screen. It's not opening on the right side. I don't know. I think there would be an option here to make it open on the right side. Hold on. See, I keep saying, open right, split editor right, but it keeps opening in the bottom. I don't know how to change this, but on VS Code, which I'll show in a minute, I keep the files side by side when I'm coding. So it's very important you have a two monitor setup every time you're doing any kind of front-end coding. So let's just remember that. Okay, so there you go. So now coming back, so there you go. That's as easy as it is. So you create your components, whatever you want, and there it is, and there you go. Now, the simplest thing you would do in React.js is, of course, add libraries. Okay, so let me do one thing here. Let me open up or go back to my dashboard, and I have a demo project. So I'm gonna go back to the CodeSandbox again. So I have a project here called Hello World. I'm going to put the link in the description. So this is the project I want to use for today's discussion. So I'm going to keep this on the right side. So one of the basic things I like to use in any React.js project, I like to use React Bootstrap. Okay, so for example, you can see here I have a project here, which I'm going to bring the output here. So there you go. It's a simple project. Amisha Patel is an actress from India. I use her images sometimes. So I'm obviously using Bootstrap here. So how would I add Bootstrap to React? Now React has a Bootstrap library called React Bootstrap. So to add that library, I can go here on the left side. There's a dependency section, and I just have to type in the library I want to add. So I'll say React, and then I'll just see, there you go, it's automatically helping me, and it's as simple as that. Okay, so that's it. So in a common practice in React.js, of course, is that you will be adding new libraries as and when you are working on something. Right now I felt like I should use React Bootstrap on my project, so I was able to add it. So if I were to create a component, Now in React, everything is a component. I think you know that by now. So let's say I will go here and I want to create a folder, because it is a good idea to use folders, you know, organize your files. So I'm going to create a folder called components. Okay, I'm going to try and build a new component here, and I'm going to build a component, let me say a simple landing page. Okay, so I'm just going to call this simple landing page .js. It's a JavaScript file. So there you go. I'm just trying to create a very simple landing page. Now what I want to do here is I would like to use a very basic component here. So what I'll do is I'm not going to go ahead and chat anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the code from my other computer here. So I'm going to go ahead and use my sample project, and I'm going to create a component here. So I'll say remember, the file names and the component names in React, obviously they have to match. So I like to put this as a comment so it's easy to type, and then I'm going to say const, and then I'm going to just create a component here, and I'm using arrow functions, you know, that's what React.js uses. So let's go for it, and then there you go. This is one simple way to create a React.js component. And of course at the end you want to go ahead and export the component that you want to return in this code. Now here, remember, whatever you return in React has to be in a single div. So there will always be one single div, and everything else will be inside this div. So that's a very basic way to do it. And here all I want to do is I want to put a simple header, but first I do want to use you know, Bootstrap. Okay, so I would like to go ahead and use the standard container class. Okay, and one thing you have to remember is before you can actually use React Bootstrap or Bootstrap at all in your computer, you need to include the style sheet. Very important. It's easy to forget. It's easy to forget that you may not remember to add this, you know, that's like a problem. So let's go ahead and add the React Bootstrap styling to your index file. So go to index.html. So this is a step you have to do only for Bootstrap or any kind of CSS, because it does not get automatically added to your project. So make sure you include that. And then now here I'm going to put a simple title. Okay, so I'm going to put a very basic title, like a header title. So there you go. I'm just going to say hello. Again, I'm just using that Amisha Patel thing. If I don't like it, then I can just say hello using what do you say, using CodeSandbox. There we go. So I'm going to change that, you know, there it is. So now what I want to do is I want to use this component. I'm going to add some more things in this tutorial, but first I want to use it right away. So I will go here and I'll try to import this. You know, importing in what do you say, in React.js is fairly straightforward. You just have to go ahead and do a quick import, and then that will show up on your computer. So you want to go here and you want to say import, and usually it will try to help you, like, you know, so there it is. The computer will automatically try to help you. But this is something I've noticed in CodeSandbox. You know, it for some reason it adds this thing in the top, but it also leaves the line you're typing. It doesn't add to the existing line you're typing. So just watch out for this. You know, watch out for this. Just delete, and then here just go ahead and use the component right at the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's do one thing. Let's put all this in a div. Okay, let's take these 3 lines, put them in a div. As much as possible, try to put things in a div. Makes your life a little easy and organized. Okay, and then I want to put the simple landing page here. There we go. So, and there it is. So that is coming from the simple landing page. So if I go back to my simple landing page, there you go. Hello there, using CodeSandbox from simple landing page component. Easy. So there you go. That's how you would go ahead and add a new folder, and that is how you would also go ahead and add a new component into your app.js in CodeSandbox. And let's say if you know, again, you know, simple Bootstrap again. So if you want to, let's say if you want to add a simple image, then I would go ahead and get the image code here. So again, I don't want to type anything. I'm just going to copy paste from my code here. So I like to use a horizontal line as a divider. So let me use that. Okay, there you go. And then I want to put the image code here, and I would like to, there you go, I want to put the horizontal line again, and there it is. So I have my image running here, but I notice a minor issue here. I notice that it is not being fluid. Why is that? It is not taking the fluid. It's not being exactly in the center. It's actually not applying the Bootstrap CSS at all. Is it because, let me reload this. There you go, there you go. That's because it hasn't accepted the index.html. Now let's say I want to use one of my own images. I do a bit of photography and things like that, so I have my own website for photography. So let me go ahead and use one of my own images. So let me take
all right. Sorry about that, guys. I am having some internet issues.
This is actually taken by me. It's one of my own photos. So let's say
what do you say?
Some internet issues are happening. So there it is. So the technician is coming.
So you will notice this issue as well. You know, once again, I'm kind of glad
to update
this is happening also because these are the kind of issues you face when you try to use
and then I like to,
so there is some
put another sentence
typescripting going on, and
I
don't want to use TypeScript
right now. So you know what, we are going to get rid of it.
So just remember, using TypeScript is important.
I'm not going to say it's not important,
but I would not recommend using TypeScript
on the very first day.
So let it go.
It's looking too big,
rid of
so
it. It's fine.
Let it go. It's all right.
That'll be easier.
It's not the end of the world if you don't use TypeScript from day one. You can always start using it once you finish your learning.
And then
so in the early days, maybe not use TypeScript.
So for which I need a
just a practical advice, not the correct advice, but a practical advice as a coding tutor of many years. So just let the TypeScript thing go for now. Come back to it when you're more prepared and experienced. Because you'll find issues like this,
usually it's a good idea
and
to put the source,
I don't even know how I would fix that.
It's a good idea to do that.
I don't want to do that right now.
Source.
Okay, there you go. Once I remove the whole TypeScript thing, the dependency is gone so far. There it is. And you do want to leave a install space there. Now all I have to do is npm start. There you go.
That's all there is to it. So
there you go.
So if you
let's see if this runs. See again, errors. So that's the problem there is to it. So once again, let's come back here. So there you go. That is the easiest way you would go about,
all right.
Using CodeSandbox. You start by creating a template. You create new folders, create new files, and ultimately you add the dependencies, whatever you want, on the left side, and they will get automatically updated. Now, if you want to do it old school like you do on your computer, you can directly add a package in the package.json as well. There is a package.json file, and you can go ahead and update it any way you want.
Conclusion I'm going to
that is how you would use the CodeSandbox. The very basics. Now, let's say you want to take this code to your computer. Now there are several ways you could take this to your computer. Like let's say you built something and you want to now run it on your computer. So there is an option here to download this. There is a way for you to click on share.
Okay, there is a solution.
I believe there's an option to download. I remember seeing it, so I'm going to try to use that. So let's go here. There is an option to.
They're saying that I should install this.
I remember there was an option to. Let me see. Let me try that. Hold on. Okay, I've saved this. No, it still won't work. So I click on share.
Okay.
Owner, embed, copy link.
Solve the problem.
Which is fine. So if you want to share this, to someone, all you have to do is take this link here. See, take this link, and then you can just. Anybody can take this.
Trying different
fixes here. I wasn't expecting so many problems in trying to use npm
at the top, the URL. You'll get the link.
Trying to use CodeSandbox on my computer, but ultimately, although it is very embarrassing and awkward, I'm glad this is happening because these are the kind of issues you will face as well. So when you watch this, when an experienced tutor is also facing similar issues, you know that when you see these errors, you're not the only one facing problems. So let's try it again. So let's see if that makes a difference. npm start.
That is also fine. Now what I'm trying to do is
finally.
How would I go ahead and I remember
okay. So what did I do? What are the steps I did? So let me open my PowerPoint here. So what I tried was I received this error. So when I tried to use this, what was the errors I received? I received a bunch of errors. Okay, first step, very straightforward. All you have to do is click on export. There's a very nice button, export as a zip. So that's
from CodeSandbox, something I can easily do.
Just trying to, I remember doing it in CodeSandbox as well, but I guess it's not
okay. So there you go. That's the first issue I faced. There's no solution to this that I could find out. So just remember this. Second thing, second issue I faced was I was able to export to GitHub and then
I think maybe
clone it to my computer. So, but here again, I had to do refreshes and try again. I got errors here also, so you might get these errors as well.
So
wherein you worked on a project on CodeSandbox,
I just realized, so I just did a quick
computer. So remember that this would happen to you as well. And finally,
so
another error I encountered was I was unable to export it to your GitHub. This became a problem. You have logged in with GitHub anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and what I'll do is I'll just say tutorial. I had to remove TypeScript. I made this on from the package .json. So there you go. And then I'll just go ahead. After all this, I still faced even more issues wherein I had to do it. So let's go ahead and click on that. There it is. Fix. It's happening. -force. I had to run this command in order to make the code work, and I had to change the start command.
Oh, see, there you go. There are some issues in exporting. So it says it was unable to.
So I had to change the start command.
I just want to be sure
is something like
sometimes
that.
What happens?
So
you get an error.
I had to do all these things, and ultimately I was able to get the code that I created on CodeSandbox.
Sometimes it would have already created
my computer. So let me go and make some simple changes here.
No, it hasn't created.
Just to make sure it's still working, right? Just to show you. So there you go.
It says
after a lot of all right. Let's try again. After a lot of pain, got the CodeSandbox project to run on my computer. Okay, and now let's see.
It is a little awkward
when these things happen. You know, like it is always awkward. There it is. Things don't work as expected. But I'm glad this is happening as well, because all I wanted
these
to
are the kind of challenges you would face as well.
This was useful to you. I've been using CodeSandbox for some time now, and you can see I'm facing these issues as well. So there you go. And I think there it is. That's it. So it's been created on GitHub, and now it is once again running it and all that. Now if I should go here, I reload this, and there it is. It's created on my GitHub account, so I should be able to download it and run it on my computer. So let's do that. So I'm gonna go here. Okay, all right. Sorry about that, guys. I am having some internet issues lately. I'll go to my and I am not able to. What do you say? Some internet issues are happening. So there it is. So the technician is coming to. So you will notice this issue as well. You know, once again, I'm kind of glad this is happening. Also because these are the kind of issues you'll face when you try to use this as well. So there is some, and there it is, TypeScript thing going on, and I don't really want to use TypeScript right now. So you know what? We are going to get. So this is where I. So just remember, using TypeScript is important. If I go here, normally when I'm working, not important, but I would not recommend using TypeScript like this. I always on the very first day. So let it go. Now get rid of it. It's very simple. Let it go. Using split windows like this. It's not the end of the world if you don't use TypeScript from day one at the same time. Or you can always start using it once you've finished your learning. Helps you code faster. So in the early days, why maybe not use TypeScript? My advice about just a practical advice, not the correct advice. But a practical advice is so important. So on one display you have split screen. So just let the TypeScript thing go for now. Another display. Come back to it when you are more prepared and experienced. Right then. So let's come back, because you'll find issues like this. You know, and I don't even know how I will fix that. So I don't want to do that right now. We'll just wait. There you go. Once I remove the whole TypeScript thing, it says something is not right. The dependency is gone. It says so far. There it is. The React.js is now installed. Now all I have to do is npm start. Error could not resolve. And let's see if this runs. See again, errors. What is the problem now? What is the issue now? Oh, there you go. Okay, all right. Why would you hold on, folks? Npm start. Digital envelope routines unsupported. I think this has to do with HTTPS. Okay. I think the conclusion I'm going to come at the end of this is maybe you should not be using the code that you download from Okay, there is a solution here on the internet, so I'm going to try to use that. So let's go here. They're saying that I should install this. Let me see. Let me try that. Nope, 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 no, it still won't work. It still won't work. Okay, all right, sorry about that, guys. I am having some internet issues lately, and I am not able to what do you say, some internet issues are happening. So there it is. So the technician is coming too. So you will notice this issue as well. You know, once again, I'm kind of glad this is happening also, because these are the kind of issues you'll face when you try to use this as well. So there is some TypeScript thing going on, and I don't really want to use TypeScript right now. So you know what, we are going to get rid of it. So just remember, using TypeScript is important. I'm not going to say it's not important, but I would not recommend using TypeScript on the very first day. So let it go. You know, get rid of it. It's fine. Let it go. It's all right. It's not the end of the world if you don't use TypeScript from day one. You can always start using it once you've finished your learning. So in the early days, maybe not use TypeScript. You know, just a practical advice, not the correct advice, but a practical advice as a coding tutor of many years. So just let the TypeScript thing go for now. Come back to it when you're more prepared and experienced, because you'll find these issues like this, you know, and I don't even know how I would fix that. So I don't want to do that right now. Okay, there you go. Once I remove the whole TypeScript thing, the dependency is gone so far. There it is. The React.js is now installed. Now all I have to do is npm start, and let's see if this runs. See again, errors. What is the problem now? What is the issue now? Okay, all right. Why would you npm start? Digital envelope routines unsupported. I think this has to do with HTTPS. Okay. I think the conclusion I'm going to come at the end of this is maybe you should not be using the code that you download from okay, there is a solution here on the internet, so I'm going to try to use that. So let's go here. They're saying that I should install this. Let me see. Let me try that. Nope, no, it still won't work. Okay, this doesn't seem to solve the problem. Okay, I'm just trying different fixes here. I wasn't expecting so many problems in trying to use npm, trying to use CodeSandbox code on my computer, but ultimately, although it is very embarrassing and awkward, I'm glad this is happening, because these are the kind of issues you will face as well. So you know, when you watch this, when an experienced tutor is also facing similar issues, you know that when you see these errors, well, you know, you're not the only one facing problems. So let's try it again. So let's see if that makes a difference. npm start. Yes, finally. Oh my God. Okay. So what did I do? What are the steps I did? So let me open my PowerPoint here. So what I tried was I received this error. So when I tried to use this, what was the errors I received? I received a bunch of errors. Okay, first step, I was unable to export as a zip from CodeSandbox, something I can easily do in CodePen. Okay, so there you go. That's the first issue I faced. There's no solution to this that I could find out, so just remember this. Second issue I faced was I was able to export to GitHub and then clone it to my computer. So but here again I had to do refreshes and try again. I got errors here also, so you might get these errors as well, wherein you have worked on a project on CodeSandbox and now you're trying to put it on your computer. So remember that this would happen to you as well. And finally, another error I encountered was I was unable to npm install. This became a problem because of the TypeScript. So I had to remove TypeScript from the package.json. So there you go. And after all this, I still faced even more issues, wherein I had to do npm audit fix -4. So I had to run this command in order to make the code work, and I had to change the start command to look something like this. So I had to change the start command to look something like that. So there you go. I had to do all these things, and ultimately I was able to get the code that I created on CodeSandbox to run on my computer. So let me go ahead and make some simple changes here. So just to make sure it's still working, right? Just to show you. So there you go. After a lot of pain, got the CodeSandbox project to run on my computer. Okay, and now let's see if, oh, there you go, that's working. All right, there it is. So that is my tutorial. That is all I wanted to discuss today. Hopefully this was useful to you, and thank you very much.